All right, what is up? Race Brain, HYROX Rundown. I just stroked for a second. I actually kind of forgot the title. I'm going to be honest with y'all. On today's show, we got the boys. We got my arch nemesis. This guy hates me. If we were in high school together, he would stuff me into a locker, and there's nothing I could do about it because he is twice my size. We got the bad boy of HYROX on the show, Debo. Marcus Wallace, how we doing today, Debo?
It's been a while. I've been doing way too much HYROX, but you have my respect after that near 70 effort, and I know you have it next time, so the beef between us is settled.
Oh, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Wow, it's like also like a backhanded compliment because it like reminds me that I didn't quite get it, but I'm right there.
You had it. You had it.
Yeah, just a little bitch boy. And then this guy's got a fresh haircut. He looks so good. If this dude didn't have a girlfriend, he'd have to beat the ladies off him. We got Jack Bauer. Jack, how we doing?
I can't say I've been told that a lot, but thanks, Matt. Love it. You and I were talking. I wish that I had it last week when Greg was on, but I got myself some football tickets for later this summer. Pretty pumped.
Jack is going to the World Cup. World Cup. Which game are you going to, Jack?
One of my best friends from Algeria, so Algeria versus Austria in June. It's gonna be fun.
Is Jack Bauer the most interesting man alive? How many of our listeners can say they have a best friend in Algeria? My guess is the answer is not many. Not many. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. We've got our APAC preview. And then we've also got some other tidbits, some things that we're going to discuss. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. But this weekend, first up, Parker, you want to come make your debut on the pod? You want to come say hello? The people are going to love this. Come here, buddy. Come here. I mean, if you're not on YouTube right now.
I hate when this happens on podcasts.
Look at this.
The helmet.
That's pretty good.
This. The helmet making his race brain debut. He just wants people to see the dynos, baby.
That's pretty
the
sick.
Dynos. You see
Is that for a scooter or a balance bike?
Neither. He's going to be in the bike trailer.
Oh.
Check that head.
Yeah. Dynos. Okay. All right. We're gonna let you go now. Completely.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome.
That's for the HYROX Youngstars debuting in America.
HYROX Youngstars. He is definitely going to be better than me. Debo, you think his debut will be better or worse than mine? I'm going to say better.
In
what was your debut?
I mean, I would hope he's
129?
better than you.
Yeah, I would hope he's better than me too. If he's not, we're gonna.
Was that on 12.5 or 25 sleds?
It was on 12.5, but it was still the old sleds.
I believe we had the same debut.
Yeah, Chicago 2022 Schaumburg when Dylan ran 58.
My debut was in Miami, which is where there was some racing this past weekend.
There was some racing. That's a good segue. Let's get into all the races that we had. Let's go head over to Asia first. We were racing in Singapore. Your top 5 men in an outdoor humid stadium. Tangay Cruz picking up 105 points with a 60-22. David Roig, 64-32. Muhammad Radawi, 64-56. Lee Boyd, 65-26. And rounding out your top 5, Singhan No with a 65-41. On the women's side, Tanya Strohschneider, she has been collecting those points over in Asia, securing another 105 with a 65-21. Georgia Stadelman, 67-10. Pimchanak Kuman, 70-44. Madison Biggs, 71-02. And rounding out your top 5, Gabriela DePetro, 75-15. On the doubles, securing 105 points, Gabe Heck and Byung-Suk Hung, 52-34. Andy Farnfield and Sam Kirkwin, 57-52. And Kyungmin Shin and Kihon Park, 58-27. That is your top 3. Debo is loving all of my pronunciation.
Give a shout out to number 4. I'm friends with Johnny.
I don't know if these names are correct, but they actually sound pretty good to me.
I'm doing better than I do with some of the other.
After your Pagakar or whatever
Yeah.
you said for like
Lucas, Grazer, and Johnny 2 with the 58-36. That was your top 4. And then on the women's side, Rhiannon Dobbs, Jade Boo, 62-48. Jane Ko and JD Chung, 64-19. And Ilna Jade Arrington and Amy Pink, 67-42. Your top 3 women. Tanya is cleaning up in the Asian races, the APAC races, the last 6 weeks, and we'll have to look at a little teaser. We're gonna talk about Martin's site. Need to check Martin's site, but I'm assuming that Tanya has gotta be in. Debo, can you confirm?
Yeah, she's way up there. I'm not sure how quickly his site updates. I'm sure it's a lot faster than HYROX normally updates, but yeah, she was already 8th, and I don't think that has this weekend in, so she'll just be moving up from there.
All right, and then down, we were racing in Cape Town. Your top 5 men: Kyle Schoenby, 57-15, collecting all 105 points. Dylan Pinar, 59-54. Scott Babel, 61-25. Yanko Lauder, 62-18, and rounding out your top 5, Trent Smith with a 62-33. Someone keep me honest. Is Cape Town at elevation?
I think Johannesburg is, but Cape Town, I believe, is
Sea
right on
level,
the
right?
coast.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But an
Donna,
elevation of 40 meters, so nope.
nope, definitely not. Your top 5 women: Donnell Lowe with a 60-45, Edith Strand 67-47, Juan Marie Herbst 68-49, Pascal Kruger 69-17, and rounding out your top 5, Pauline Antita 71-34. Your doubles teams: your top 3 men: Dylan Pinar and Kyle Schoenby with a 51-58, Simon Goldsboro and Luke Jacobs 54-18, and Heinrich Kampfer and Charles Nell with a 55-21. Your top 3 women's teams: Vicky McIntosh and Donnell Lowe with the 55-02, Andrea Erasmus and Karen Forey 63-25, and Stephanie Von Ziel and Margot Rodmeyer 66-13. That is your top 3 women. And then in the Southeast, the great city of Miami, one of my favorite places. We had some racing this weekend, massive attendance across the board. Your top 5 men: Hunter McIntyre. Jack and I took so much heat for last week's top 5 episode. Keep it coming. We like the banter. Hunter McIntyre took the win, 53-59. Frederick Dubé, 55-44. Jude Reynolds, 56-43. Jack 40 Fit Driscoll, the 57 flat, and Macklin Cortabine, 59-57. That's your top 5. Jack, does Hunter's sub 54 make you reconsider your top 5 rankings from last week?
Nah, keeping it how it is. He's number 6.
Devo, would Hunter McIntyre have been in your top 5 rankings?
Hunter McIntyre, regrettably, may have been in my top 5 rankings.
If he ran this in DC, if he ran this
Not
at
because of this weekend,
Phoenix, would have happened.
Also, shout out to this guy, Macklin. Don't know him, never met him, but he's from Milwaukee as well. So another sub 60 Milwaukee High Rock.
Listen, I've been trying to tell y'all, it's the hybrid mecca. They're not hip. They're not hip.
Matt, would you have been sub 70 if you were still in Milwaukee? Because it seems to be the differentiator city.
You might be the fastest man in St. Louis right now, though.
It's actually, no, Josh Ward.
You're not the fastest man.
Not the fastest
He's
man.
in the
Not the
burbs.
fastest man. Yeah. No, he is in the burbs.
I know nothing about St. Louis.
He is in the burbs. Well, it's hard to make that argument, Jack, because technically speaking, this was not even technically. This was my PR, and I was in St. Louis. So some say I'm getting faster since leaving.
Fair.
So
Yep.
hard to argue.
Watch out, Josh.
Stats. Your top 5 women: Rachel Wade, again securing 105 points, 60-45. Morgan Schulz with the most stressful travel race day in the history of HYROX. I think she showed up to the venue 45 minutes before her start time, 62:07. Camila Massa, 63-26. Brittany Weiss continuing to go all in on rocks with a 64.42, and rounding out your top 5, Haley Herrera with a 66.05. Okay. Men's pro doubles, your top 5 teams, Cole Learn, Ryan Douglas making their debut together, 50.01. Jude Reynolds and Lloyd Mulholland, 52.59. And Malik Key and Tyler Rohrer, 53.20. That is your top 3. But you know what? We got some Milwaukee boys. So I'm gonna go down a little bit further. 4th place, Fabian Acuna and Hayden Boss. And 2 of my good friends, Benjamin Stecker and Scott, the Italian Stallion Brugioni, with a 55 flat. Some good old Scotty boys. They're training sometimes with the Raw Dog, mostly just trying to be the Raw Dog. But shout out to them for getting that 55 flat. Your top 3 women's doubles teams, Chris Rogloski and Bridget Brown with the 57.11. Lauren Griffith and Sydney Wells, team proven, 58.03. Shauna Smith and Alexandra Gauthier, 59.06. Gentlemen, a lot of results this weekend. Thoughts on the weekend overall across the globe?
I think there are too many events. We may need to stop naming off so many people for some of these. But also, there was another event you haven't even done yet.
Which one?
Italy. I think it was like a 4-day event.
Oh, it's
You
still going
muted me.
on. Yeah, it's still going on. HYROX Bologna. All right, we're just gonna go through this really quick. Your top 5 men: Aitor Lizarazu, Hormia, 54.59. Ollie Fricker, 55.53. Eugenio Bianchi, 56.20. Evan Marion, 56.57. And Steve Pinal, 57.06. Your top 5 women: Lee Sophie Pomerinig, 59.25. We got a new name in the sub 60 club. Gloria Corbetta, 62.39. Alona Frigal, 62.57. Lucia Salatino, 66.13. And Ivana Terzic, 66.54. Your top 3 doubles teams: Quentin Garrell and Alan Cow, 50.45. Lasse Pips and Renee Ronig, 52.16. And Kenny Steger and Par Bergsman, 52.31. Your top 3 women's teams: Gloria Corbetta and Alicia Donati, 58.53. Fabrizia Midday, Ludovicia Midday, 61.01, and Flor Van Dijk and Amber Brower, 62.45. Now we've gone through all of the names. Thoughts on the weekend overall? No thoughts. We crushed it. Jack's on mute. He's got thoughts, though.
I'm muted, my bad. How many new women have gone sub 60 in the past month? It's ridiculous. The sport is getting so deep.
We
It's
have her.
crazy.
We had a few from London. Yeah, we have Rachel Wade doing awesome in America. Alyssa McElhaney. A lot of new names that unfortunately we won't see really in the elite races this season, but looking good for next season, hopefully.
Yeah. You better hope you punch your spot this year, because it's going to be a lot more difficult
It's
next.
getting deep. It's getting deep. HYROX announced that they're going to do a new ranking system, or a new world's qualifying system for next season for the age groupers. Gentlemen, any thoughts on what that might be?
Well, if we're going to talk about this now, this age group world qualifying, first up, I've been seeing a lot about if elite athletes, now there's going to be a lot more elite athletes chasing time, so probably racing more, taking up some of these podium spots. I don't think they should be like banned from taking a podium spot or even taking the spot. Obviously, people like I know Sean Noble, Harry Thompson did age group worlds last year, and then this year they're obviously racing the elites. But it would be very nice because we've been on this run of races to just have a box you could check, like, I do not want the spot. Because we've been running these races, we have no desire to go to Stockholm for doubles, and then we're taking a spot from other people. So I would like if we could just, as we sign up, say, give my spot to the next person. Otherwise, now they're just wasted. So, I mean, some of these teams, hopefully they didn't want to go because, yeah, I felt a little bad about that.
So I do know that when Dylan and Lauren went for the world record, Dylan made a post about this, but Lauren specifically reached out to HYROX and made it clear that they did not want to take a world spot. And I actually know this because Ben Stecker and Bella Steckschulte, two friends of mine, got second place in that age group, and they did, in fact, get their world spot. But I know that that's because Lauren reached out and said that they did not want to take the spot. So, but I agree with Debo. I really do think that they should do something about it. I think it's one thing if it's like, how do I say this? If you're not like an established elite 15 athlete, you're someone that's like kind of on the fringe. I do think that you should be able to take the spot because you're at the top end of the sport. But if you're if you're um, like a Cole and a Dougie as an example, I don't know. That one's tricky to me, right? Because
Like, maybe if you qualified for regional champs, but not necessarily a major so far, you're close, but
yeah,
you're not
or
there yet.
maybe they need to be flexible here because like they got to get 3 races, right? So let's use Dawson and Marcus as an example. Maybe in Dawson and Marcus's first race of the year, they get their qualifying spot, they can choose to accept or deny it. But then after that, maybe those races beyond that, they don't take up the spot. Does that make sense? So it's like there's flexibility there because if Marcus and Dawson don't make it into the Elite 15 doubles, maybe they do want to race at Worlds in the age groups, right? And I think that they should be allowed to.
Yes, I think if you turn it down like 3 times, they stop offering it to you. But yeah, from the very beginning, obviously it's cool Lauren did that. I mean, I've never been communicated that there's a process for that. If there was an email we could send or a box we could check
I
that we
think
don't
she
want
went
it.
out of her way to do it. So to
Yeah,
your point,
and
I mean,
she's obviously Lauren. She's got the connections, but I don't have those, so we just sort of decline it, and then no one gets
are
to
you
have it.
saying that Hyrox doesn't treat you like they treat Lauren Weeks?
Hyrox doesn't know who I am at all.
That's crazy. Well, maybe you shouldn't have left the hybrid engine.
You don't remember they put the wrong Marcus Wallace sticker on somebody to start the year? It wasn't a good start.
Never know. Never know. But anyway, back to the original question. How are they going to do it? I think, and this is pure, I need to be very clear about this. This is not breaking news. This is pure speculation. I know nothing. I have talked to literally no one. I have no inside sources.
You should put
M-
some caveat on this, Matt.
My guess is that they're just going to do what they do for the marathon, like for Boston. Like they're going to put a time in place for the different age groups, and the standard is the standard. And if they get, they'll have this certain amount that they're willing to take. Maybe it's 100 athletes, maybe it's 200 athletes. I'm just obviously using those numbers. And then if they get 400 people that hit the standard, then the 200 slowest times are just out of luck. That's my guess.
They seem like they're getting away from time-based stuff, though. So, if everybody happened to run a really favorable course and everybody gets in from there, I don't know. I feel like that's probably not what's gonna happen.
What if they made a real tough time though? So they still go based on how you place is the main way you qualify. But let's say you're a guy and you're in the 30 to 34 age group and you run a sub 58, then you automatically can be at world champs.
Even if you get, like, 12th, it's like you were
Even if
good
you
enough,
get
you just
12.
happened to pick the wrong race.
Well, but to be
Or
fair though, they're trying to get away from time for the elites, but how else do you do it in age group? Because you can't have what are you gonna do? Have a point system for age group athletes?
especially when
They
courses
do what
are
they have been doing.
yeah.
Well, no, but they said that they're gonna make a change. They specifically said they're making a change to the age group qualification system for next year. They can't do what they're doing this year because, like, as an example, um, I can't 100% verify this, but based on their own rules, if you were in the 35 to 39 age group this week in Miami, Hunter McIntyre ran a sub 54. I don't think he had technically qualified for Worlds yet, which means that the spot would have gone to him and it wouldn't have rolled down.
Well, that you are not allowed to run both individual, elite, and age group individual at world champs. So hopefully they solved that and gave the next person the spot.
Well, hopefully. But all right. Okay, I thought I'd get more out of you two than that, but that's my prediction.
We need specifics.
We're gonna go Boston Marathon style. That's my guess. We'll see if that winds up being the case. Let's do a little APAC preview. Let's get into it. So we got some racing this weekend. The last regional of the year is taking place down under in Brisbane. And we got some racing going. So Debo or Jack, do you have the start list?
I do. I sent it in the group chat. So pull it up.
Perfect.
I got the start list. I got all my notes. There will be two notable, pretty large absences for both the men and the women. I would say Joanna is not on the start list for anything, and obviously Bo Wills I believe, just had a surgery on something on his knee, so he will not be on the start list as well.
My assumption is that Joanna is not on the start list because she's going to go to Warsaw to try to complete the Grand Slam.
Yes, I believe she's already been in Europe, so
Yeah.
that would be a very tough travel. I'm interested to see if anyone ends up doing that because it's like a Saturday to a Thursday if they're doing the doubles, so very, very challenging.
Yeah. So your top 15 men coming into this weekend down under, your one seed, James Kelly. We're going to see the return of Tom Rogers. We got Jonathan Wynn, Dexter Buchanan, Matt Slee, Luke Brotherton, Greg Lewis, Lee Tuck, Kane Badgent, Sam Shepard, Bay Tusick, Anthony D. Paolo. I'll probably mess that up. Abbas Nazari, Billy Schilling, and Corey Dietrich are your 15 men. I think it goes without saying. I think that this race, probably more so than others, the heavy favorite has got to be James Kelly. We took a little bit of flack on last week's episode for not including him in the top five, and you can make an argument that he probably should be in there as well. But I do think that this is, I mean, unless anyone disagrees, I've got a feeling like this is got JK's name written all over it.
Yes, I was thinking about him earlier too. I know it's probably his one of his worst performances of the season so far was in Australia when he probably wanted to have a much better performance. So I think he's got to show out for his home country this time.
Yeah,
Jack?
with Bo injured, I know that probably would have changed things a little bit, but realistically, the athletes behind him know James already clinched a spot. They should just race for second. James's recent results have clearly shown he's a level above at the moment.
Yeah, and I think actually in this, I'm pretty sure you can compare um you can compare to other athletes on high result. So I was actually going to pull him versus John Wynn. Jack, this is a teaser. Has John Wynn ever beaten JK in a race?
I thought didn't we have an episode not too long ago saying that JK's worst finish, he only had one worse than like 5th or 6th at a major for a while. I'm gonna go he probably got him once because John has he got 5th at Worlds. I don't think he's podiumed at a major, but he's got it at LCQ. I'll go with one.
Yeah, let's see if I can find John Wynn. High results not pulling him up. That's weird.
I'll look.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, here we go. Here's all of John Wynn's elite races. John's got 13 elite races. 9, 11, 6, 12, 6, 9, 10, 5. That was Hong Kong, which I'm pretty sure JK was in that race. And that's the one that he won, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, he won that race.
I wanna say John Wynn beat James Kelly last time they raced Elite in Melbourne. Melbourne. How am I
You're right.
supposed to say it?
That
He
is
got
right.
10th, JK got 12th.
That's right. Okay, so he's gotten him once. I think that's it. I mean, that would be to me if I was a betting man, those are the two names to watch in this race. The money's probably on JK to win. It's John Wynn's to lose in terms of the qualifying spot. Um, that is not a slight against Tom Rogers at all, but we haven't seen Tom Rogers race since Worlds.
He raced once, in the fall. He won the race. He beat Josh Van Zeelen by 1 second in that race,
And then he was hurt after that, right?
and he's been hurt since then, so this will be his return, and that was pretty early in the fall, so it has been quite a while. I am excited to see him. It seems like he's definitely picked up the training a little bit, but I think he's definitely quite a wild card. It would be nice to see him at 100%, but I think he could mix things up a little bit.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend of September. So September 5th through 7th was the last time that he lined up. Shout out Debo getting the facts. It was Tom Rogers, Josh Van Zeeland. He beat him by a second. Tenge Cruz, 57-37, so 20 seconds behind. Matt Slee, who's also in this race with a 58-41. So again, I think it probably comes down to John and JK. My money would be on JK to win and John to get the qualifying spot, but that is the least hot take that I've probably ever put on this show. So
Dexter Buchanan, I got my eyes on him too a little bit. He ran a 56-48 in Bangkok just a few weeks ago. I think he's been one who's also been targeting this race for a while. So I think I could also see him mixing it up in that sort of top 5 range and maybe pushing for that spot.
yeah, I think if we were to look at this start list and just kind of take it down, then I would say the names to watch, I really do think the top 5 seeds that's gonna be that your podium is gonna come from those 5 would be my guess. I think, Matt Slee is also someone to watch out for. So I think the question will be, well, and it'll be interesting because we got teammates racing, um, down on the Bayans method. We got John Wynn versus Dexter Buchanan. I believe that they're both training with Chris. Debo, can you confirm?
I can confirm, and if I had to guess, I would say that is not correct,
What is not correct?
that they are both under Chris Baines.
They're not? I thought Dexter was.
I I do not know.
Why are you smiling? Am I breaking news?
No, I know nothing.
Oh, okay.
You brought it
Alright,
up.
moving on. I know John is definitely with Chris.
John
Chris,
is,
if you
yeah.
listen
So John, I think since after Phoenix started with Chris, so he's had some time. Obviously, he had a big move to Australia with his family as well, which I'm sure interrupted some things. But yeah, I would say he's still the favorite overall coming in for the spot, at least.
for sure. Chris, if you are not training, Dexter, I know you will let me know. And then, Matt Slee, who is actually JK's partner and coach now moving forward, is, another name, to watch. Him and JK, recently ran in Taipei together. They ran a 50-50. Um, they also, uh they ran twice that weekend. Wow. But he's also run a 57 mid in Melbourne and a couple of 58s. So definitely someone to watch out for. Any other gentlemen between the two of you who go deep in the recesses of HYROX data that you think is a name to watch?
I think this might be more sort of a up and comers race for like those sort of 5 to 15 spots where we might see someone, drop a 2-minute PR and then someone to keep an eye on for next year. I think it will be good racing for those spots as well. A lot of people do have very similar times, I would say, coming in, but I think that top 5 is going to be mostly settled. There's a decent time gap between those and some of the others.
Yeah. Jack, any final thoughts on the men?
I'm trying to pull some numbers super quick, but you guys just finished up your thoughts before. If you could talk for like 2 more minutes, I'll have some numbers.
If you sort of mentioned the doubles too, I would say if we just want to talk men's doubles right away, Matt Slee, James Kelly, they definitely have the fastest time coming in. Some of these courses other people have run though have been quite challenging. So like Dexter Buchanan, Chris Woolley, they ran in Auckland, which I believe was like outdoors in the
Yep.
heat. I believe there was incline runs in this. I've never heard of that in a high rocks. So I don't think you can really trust their time coming in. I think they'll be up there as well. Dan Corin, Kane Bajan were the second fastest time seed. James Newberry, Dean Flood ran in Cancun. They got second there. They lost to a really good team. So I
Who'd they
think
lose
there
to?
are some. What's up?
Who'd they lose to?
This Raw Debo team.
Mm.
They flew all the way to Mexico just to get some points.
Only got 100 of them though. 'Cause 105 went back to Wisconsin, baby.
We defended North America
Defend that North American soil. Put an old Iron Dome right over it. You know what I'm saying?
too much.
Too much? We'll back off. Yeah, I
All
mean, I
right,
think the
I can't pull this up quickly enough. Sorry, I was trying to look at the head to head for everybody against each other just to see if there's like a sneaker or a sleeper athlete, but I
yeah.
need more time.
I think the
Jack has
reality
better
is
spreadsheets, but I come better prepared.
I think the reality is that there are some good athletes in APAC. I think that it is relatively new down there compare or over there compared to obviously Europe and North America. I think they're probably, 12 to 18 months behind the rest of the world, but no doubt that they are going to be a very competitive. I mean, they're already a very competitive region. They already have arguably the number one female in the sport, and then they have 3 or 4 gentlemen who have consistently been in the top 15, and the depth of field is only going to increase. On the women's side, your 15 racers, your number 1 seed, as we've already mentioned that Joanna Wetrick is the most notable absence. Gabrielle Nakora Baker, followed by Jess Petro, Calypso Sheridan, Molly Fakaris, Ivy Oziemek, Zoe Schilling, Connie Stevenson, Anna Bromley, Katie Brock, Alex Payne, Carly Reed, Laura Sanders, Aki Yoshida, Brie Gorefa, and Marianne Berenhol. Um, the favorites for this race, it's probably gotta come down to, the big 3, which are gonna be, Gabrielle Nakora Baker, Jess Petro, and Calypso Sheridan. Jack, do you by chance have a head-to-head between Jess and Gabrielle? You're muted. Still muted.
Off his game
Not yet.
today.
Not yet. Okay. Calypso and Jess did just race recently. I believe it was over in, yeah, it was Taipei, where Calypso ran a 60:03, 4 seconds off being in the sub 60 club. Jess Petro was in second place to not have a good day that day. It was a 61:33. Crazy that we're talking about somebody not having a great day and still running a sub 62. And then, Zoe, just for the sake of conversation and kind of what we're seeing here, Zoe Schilling was also in that race, 65:26, and Aki Yoshida was 65:49. So we're talking about, Zoe is the 5th seed, 6th seed in this race. She's about 4 to 5 minutes off the top. Um, she's if you look at her time, she's consistently a 65 to 66 athlete. So I really do think it's probably going to come down to those top 3 for women. But Marcus, I'm sure that you've got some thoughts to enlighten us on the women's side. You always do.
Yeah, I mean, those are the women and definitely to keep an eye on. Obviously, and Gabrielle and Jess both have qualified for world champs. So I would say it's sort of Calypso to lose. We do have Molly Fakaris in the race. I believe she made a pregnancy announcement with a due date somewhere around September. So I don't know what it's like to be pregnant, but I don't know if I'd want to race high rocks with it. So that may slow her down just a tad, but I think if she's feeling all right, she might be in the mix also.
Yeah, and I was looking ahead at some of the points just to see where some athletes may have done well in the past. Aki Yoshida from Japan, she did get second place. She has 100 points at one race, and then she's low 90s for a few others, and then 98 for another. So she's consistently in the top 5 or so at most of her races, and unless a faster athlete shows or more elite athlete shows up, so she might be in the top 5. But yeah, I totally agree that it's her race to lose.
Yeah.
Calypso. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Calypso is someone that we've talked about. I think actually going back to the season preview episode, a name to watch out for. Um, she raced in the elite race in Hamburg in a 66. She followed it up by just racing pro in Melbourne with a 62:40, and then she raced almost broke 60 again in Taipei. So definitely trending in the right direction. She also won that Auckland race with Meg Martin running a 57:27. That was outdoors, uphill in the snow both ways. Um, Jack liked that joke. Debo didn't. But yeah, it'll be a good race. I would agree. If I had to put money on someone taking the qualifying spot, I'd go with Calypso, which again is probably the least hottest take we've ever had on this show.
Yeah. Do you think that this kind of justifies our earlier complaint about having an automatic qualifier from APAC if Joanna doesn't, she's not there, and then I guess Calypso has raced elite solo before, so we will have an athlete who has done that, but I want to say she was like 14th the race she showed up, and then on the men's side, James is already qualified, so it's going to come down to an athlete who's probably either never finished at an elite race or qualified for an elite race, or has kind of been on the outside looking in this year.
I don't know because I think it's going to work itself out. I think it's going to be Calypso, and I think you can make an argument that she's probably deserving, and then it's likely going to be Win. And I just would like knowing how that Warsaw race is going to play out. It's going to probably roll down to like high single digits, low double digits. I think if Win didn't get it in Brisbane, I think he's going to get it in uh would get it in Warsaw. So I think it's going to wind the right people are going to wind up getting in. I think the argument would more so be on the women's side of would you take Calypso over the field? But a lot of the names that we have seen go sub 60 or get that close to sub 60, they're not even qualified for Warsaw anyway because they came in too late. And a 60:03 is a legit time. I mean, that is
Totally.
moving. So like I think it probably works itself out that the right people get in anyway.
I think it is definitely just fine to have it's only one spot. It's not like they're taking up a ton of spots. I think it's a great way to grow it in the region. And yeah, I think they these athletes will not look out of place at world championships. It's not going to be like that extreme. It's just for us optically, just a few weeks ago we had this London major or London regional, which essentially looked like a major. So I think compared to that, it is quite a bit different. But I think the people will be well deserving, and they should keep getting a spot for the region.
Yeah, and the funny thing is every time we bring this stuff up, I'm willing to bet that the qualifiers out of APAC, neither one of them will finish 15th at Worlds.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Yeah,
fair.
definitely
And
some scrub European.
and looking ahead for someone like Calypso, she already has 3 wins if we're looking at points. So she's got 3 times 105. What's it? 108, 106, 103, I want to say for regionals. So she gets another high performance here and then finds another race later this season. She could kind of be a lock for the elite majors next year.
yeah. Yeah. I think it's gonna work out. Um, is my guess. So excited for the racing. Looking forward to it. Should be a good weekend. And again, I think that the depth in APAC is going to is I mean it's going to round out. I think they got a late start compared to the rest of the regions, and they already have some of the top athletes in the sport. And they're doing really strong work down there. They got good coaches. They got a good community. It's growing at a rapid clip. Like I would expect that, we're eventually going to see it's very possible that we even see, a higher proportion of people coming out of APAC here in the next couple of years. So I do think
Yeah.
it's good for the sport. Excited for it. So it'll be good.
And the
We,
undisputed best in the sport on the women's side is from this region. James Kelly is always a threat for the podium. So tip of the spear absolutely is up there. It's just the depth at this point.
yeah.
Are
Uh,
we going to touch on the women's doubles? There are two strong teams:
yeah. Hit him. Do you're the double specialist.
Meg
Hit us.
Martin and Calypso Sheridan, and then Molly Fakaris and Gabrielle Nicora Baker. So we don't know what happened with this split up after they qualified for world champs, but I think there could be maybe a little something there to keep the people excited. And yes, also Meg and Calypso, they had one of those qualifying times from Auckland as well. So I think there's a bit of a gap there, but I think on the race course, it's gonna end up being very tight between those 2 teams.
I'm excited to see what kinda time Meg and Calypso can throw down.
Yeah.
So, I think that they could be I mean, we'll go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say how much are we seeing controversy and late lead changes in both of the other regional championships so far? I think it's gonna be exciting when you have 2 relatively even ability levels going head to head and, with a lot of money in the line.
Yeah, for sure. It will be I mean, that race will we got some drama. People like drama. So, we'll see. We'll
Got
see.
breakups, we got pregnancies, we got a little bit of everything.
We
Got
had
it
breakups on the
all.
men's side earlier, and look how dramatic that made the season.
Yeah, that drama kinda faded pretty quick,
I
though.
know, but it was
So,
for a while, it was like, "Oh,
we had some drama in Houston, though. The men's doubles
we did."
got a little spicy. Got a little
Are we
spicy.
done? Is it Debo story time?
I mean,
We could always jump back. Yeah,
I
it's
just
always
gave you the
Debo's story.
segue.
I can tell a story. Just this story is a way that I think there needs to be some changes in some of these points races. Now that we are all going to these races, I would like a little more regulation within them. So, yes, we've been on this points journey. We did 3 races in 20 days with the goal to be getting at least 316 points, which, we did.
Dawson has used up all of his PTO. Keep going.
We booked the last one, like, 2 weeks before, and I made sure it was, like, a 5 p.m. Friday flight, so we were able to get down there, and I think he could still work that day. But, yeah, so we were racing in Houston. There was only one other good team, Colin Stiefer and Ryan Kent, so we knew, okay,
Damn,
we're gonna
Debo
be
just
Ouch,
literally
damn. That
discarded
is
everybody
just ugh.
There's only one good team.
you c check the results, check what happened. Sorry to all the other teams.
Yeah,
But
there's
we knew
only
it was
one good
basically
team
gonna
to
be a
choose.
head-to-head matchup, and that is slightly what it ended up being. But so we're in the start tunnel. If, anyone had watched Lauren Weeks and Dylan Scott going at it on a Thursday night, it was clear that lane 1, I mean, Dylan looked like he was pushing, like, a heavy men's pro sled, and then I realized, "Oh, this should be the men's open weight for him." So it's pretty clear, everyone knew it. I think some people started doing some squirrely things. So, we were in the start tunnel ready to go at our designated time, and the team behind us, or the other team that I mentioned, just decided not to start with everyone else. So they waited 51 seconds before they crossed the, starting line so that they could get to the sleds in, like, position 10 so they weren't in the heavy lanes. But, we would never do that, so, of course, we just took the first lane, pushed as hard as we could, got to the end. The true champions prevailed, but yes, it did make us a little nervous, and really it didn't make it as fun because we're racing, we're trying to figure out how far ahead of them we are, how far behind us they started. Uh, you could say they did the smart thing. It is not in the rule book that you can't do this, but I would say we did the honorable thing. So I guess it depends. We could put it out to public opinion if you should be doing that. We also didn't want you. You think I was ragging on these other teams in the race? But we didn't want someone who's doing their first high rocks to get stuck in the first lane and be like, "I hate high rocks. I'm never coming back because I got this incredibly hard sled." So we're like, "For the people, we'll take that sled."
Well, and to be fair, this was a theme throughout the weekend after people saw what happened with Lauren and Dylan, and then after people saw what happened in the men's pro race on Friday morning, which we covered last week. The rest of the weekend, people that were trying to be competitive were doing this. So this was not just a one team thing, that this was like a known thing that was happening. And so, yeah, I guess like, yeah, I'd be interested to hear in the YouTube comments what people think. To your point, Debo, it is definitely not against the rules. So how would they, I guess the question then would be though, like, how do you enforce it? Because the alternative could be, even if they don't start late, they could just walk the rock zone, right? Or they could just slow down and let
I
someone else pass them.
But
I would be fine with that if you take it a little slower just so you don't get in those lanes. So you're saying, "Okay, I might give up 20 seconds early, but I think we'll make it back if we get an easier sled." But also, I mean, it was very, very clear that these sleds were different than all the others if you watched anything, so everyone knew it. I surprised HYROX, they just sort of kept doubling down and kept sending people there, but they definitely could have done something on their end,
They could
to help
they could have
fix
put
it.
a cone in front of it, block off the lane, or, just take away the sleds. "Hey, this is closed for the first qualifying lanes."
Yeah. So what's the solution, Debo?
Uh, the solution there, people probably just get a little stronger and they don't get affected by the sleds as much and then just run hard after.
Heard it here first.
I do think that, like, and Dylan came out and made a post about this. I do think that something needs to happen because to your point, like, everyone who was in Houston knew that, like, and it wasn't just the first, I mean, it was definitely the first 5 lanes, but then it was actually kinda, like, sporadic throughout the venue. Um There were people just, like, getting starched, like, just in random lanes, and, like, I think a lot of it had to do with it was very humid, and then we know that when the carpet is wet, the sled doesn't move as well, and then it probably gets exacerbated by the fact of, like, I'm a really sweaty dude, so, like, I leave a ton of sweat on, I do, I leave a ton of sweat on the carpet, so, like, if you came in after me, like, I have put a ton of sweat onto there, right? And so, like, it's just kind of luck of the draw. And I think Dylan said it, hey, like we've done the right thing by eradicating times, but like now we have to find some way to get some level of consistency, which I imagine is what they're trying to do with this what are they calling it? Um Division 1, where they're still giving the people, the next 15 an opportunity to race on an elite course and get a time that is separate from the age group.
Yes, I believe also there are plans in the works where essentially these sleds are gonna have, like, removable bottoms. So it would be the same sled, but the bottom will be fresh for presumably maybe every event. So I think that is one thing they're also trying to do, but I think in this situation, when it was so clear to just about anyone who was watching it, I mean, just shut the lanes down for the weekend.
Yeah, and with the removable bottoms right there, if something's not working properly and it's so obvious that this lane is a problem, you could just take the weight off, close that lane for a little bit, unload the sled, put the new bottom on, and then it's open 5 minutes later. You
Yeah,
could use it again.
and it was clear on Thursday, and we raced Saturday evening at 8 p.m., so it's not like they didn't have time, they didn't have the overnight shift to
Hundreds
make
of
some
bodies
changes.
coming through, getting it
Yeah.
worse, yeah.
I would also so I said this as a way to maybe bring some regulation to more of these events where there are meaningful points on the line for people who are trying to qualify. Another thing, putting people in the same heats actually. So we've been racing a lot this spring. In Phoenix, everyone was sort of spread out throughout the heats. In Cancun, I think we're in the third heat. In this one, thankfully, we were in the first heat finally. But I think that's another thing, we definitely need to get fixed. There's supposed to be a time that if you're under, which we were, you're always in the first heat, but is, I guess, not being clearly communicated to some of the race directors in these different countries.
Yeah, I don't know. That piece is weird to me because when we all first started HYROX, it was always seeded based on time, and now I don't know if it's just because it's gotten so large that they just have randomized it, but it does seem to be I don't understand why this is a problem.
I mean, we saw in Phoenix on the day after the major, Dylan and Hunter weren't even in the same one. It's like, how do you not know who those guys are? So imagine the roll down after that, how bad it gets if you can't even get 2 of the best in the sport, correct?
Yeah, I believe they got sort of like last minute tickets for that one, which could maybe explain part of it, but still, I put them in the first heat, they'll get out of the way for everyone else a little faster, so
Yeah.
Uh, that is another little gripe I have that I think could be fixed up. And the last one is, how are they gonna handle these multi-day events? So we have multiple pro races on different days. Now there's also some outdoor events. So like I'm running possibly in New York and I'm on the second weekend. There's people on the first weekend. It could be drastically different weather conditions. That's an outside event. The same thing happened last year where there was one day that was super fast, one day that was super slow. So I think they should also maybe designate if you're trying to get points, this is the day you need to race and this is the heat you need to be in.
Well, I just think if you're trying to get points, you should not run an outdoor race unless that outdoor race is Berlin.
Why?
because you can't there's too many variables.
Everyone has to race the
Yeah,
same.
but if everyone's racing at the
Besides
exact same time, then it minimizes all those variables, and
but they're not. You just said that they're not.
that's why I'm saying we should fix this.
I know, but that's what I'm saying, like, New York like, you know this going into it, though, so you should know that New York is probably not the best option to go for.
I don't expect them to have it fixed by New York, but I think next year they should have something in place for this.
Jack?
I see your point on that, but at the same time, it is a tough call because you might get more humid, temperatures can swing 20 degrees in one day, might rain, that makes the carpet wear it is pretty pretty tough to predict when you're buying a ticket months in advance. Are you gonna be on the good day or the good time?
It's New York City, though, baby. So that's the Big Apple, it's showbiz.
Yeah.
That's just what it
That's the
What
is.
showbiz life.
what
And we also have to remember that the elite racing portion of HYROX is a very, very small part of this business, and they probably don't care.
Yeah. I do have one question for you, Marcus. When you register as a team, is it when they pick teams, do you think that if the first time you and Dawson teamed up and you did Dawson plus Marcus as the partner, and then the next time maybe you did Marcus plus Dawson, that they're in the system wrong? Like the order of,
I
that you
they
combine the
could
2
probably
names?
develop a system that's smart enough to recognize that, I would suspect.
Okay.
But yes, and it also is tricky with doubles because especially this year, there's new teams and they're 2 Elite 15 athletes, but they don't technically have a time, but you know they're gonna run fast, so, if I was looking at the list, I would put them in heat 1, but maybe there is no way to
Yeah.
do
I
that.
mean, what you should do is just look at here are the PRs and then just create some cutoff line. Like if you're under 60 or 65 as a solo pro athlete, two teammates are that same ability level, you go in there, it's like you're probably going to run 55 or so at worst. So let's get you in the first heat and then you can seed it accordingly.
Those are my gripes with HYROX. Minor gripes, but I would like to see them fixed.
Maybe you can tell them when you're at the next major.
Oh, I'll give them peace of my mind. I won't say anything. Is Matt
Is
frozen or is he
Matt
stuck in
frozen or
conversation?
yeah, he's either pissed or thinking hard.
Oh
Because
boy, Jack, I don't know if you and I can, carry a show without him.
oh no, we did
We're
that
back.
already with
Back.
one episode. Yeah.
I don't know what just happened. I just texted my wife and asked if the internet got unplugged. Can you hear me?
You're back.
Oh, you're good. 2 straight episodes, you've had a little, issue with the
Dicey.
internet.
Getting
Is your
dicey.
soil settling? Like, what's going on?
I don't know, but my apparently I got a radon problem, so welcome to homeownership.
Uh-oh.
I think that's a made up thing. They always
Ah,
have you get those little detectors in the new homes.
I do kinda wonder if it's a scam. If you're a listener of the show and you believe in radon, let me know. Uh, all right,
That's
I
the
think
and
we
more part of the show.
yeah, I think we covered it. All right, last thing that we're gonna talk about, I'm gonna go ahead and share my
Oh,
screen and then deep
real quick on Brisbane, we didn't tell people when it's on. 7:30 start time, local time for women, and 9 for the men, 9 p.m. And if you are an East Coast US athlete or fan, that's 5:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. So
ooh.
might catch the replay instead of live.
Yeah, so I guess I'll wake up and it's Saturday, right? Or Friday?
Um, Race day
It is Friday and
Friday.
Friday for the individual, Saturday
So
for
then for
everyone.
us, it'll be happening
Friday
when
morning.
Yep.
Get your
Thursday morning.
coffee,
No,
watch some
Thursday
High
morning.
Rocks. Can't wait.
No, it's a 14-hour time difference, East Coast US versus Brisbane. So if it's Friday night Brisbane, it'll be Friday morning
Oh, yes, yes,
US.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Marcus, you want to tell the good people what they're looking at?
If it's what we talked about, we're looking at so Martin Antoven is an Elite 15 athlete. I believe he's also an engineer. We
You seen that?
usually, we got Jack on the squad, and he's usually pretty good with these things. But Martin has put together something I think a lot of people have been looking for. Essentially, the points rankings for next season. So you can do the men's, you can do women's, you can do doubles as well, and filter it by the country. So it has to be like same country teams. And also, what he added relatively recently is that slider up top. So you can essentially estimate when a major would be. So let's say the first major is generally like start of October. You can see what the points are at that point in time. So essentially, right now, the points are sort of meaningless. A lot of people have like points from last year's World Championships, which will fall off. And obviously, there's still some big races for people to get those points. But yeah, you can sort of see if that major was ran today, this is who would actually be in it.
Yeah, so, like, notable absences from the first major, Tim Vinish, Hitty Wiersma, but they both have Warsaw and Worlds to get another time. JK, same thing, though. I would imagine Ronk is probably yeah,
Can you
Ronk.
zoom in, Matt?
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll just make it easier. A little
yeah.
more. That'll help the people on YouTube.
And then you've also got, you can just play with the slider. The cool thing that I liked that he's already done was you can see here, Jack and Cole have a tiebreaker. He's also already done the math. So if you click in here, you can see that Cole's strength of field is 22,533. Jack's strength of field is 9,521. So given the fact that 3 of Cole's results, 2 of them come from a major and 1 comes from a regional, is a much higher strength of field. So he bumps out Jack. So
Yeah.
Now,
shout out Martin.
yes, this site is great. I've definitely been looking at it quite a bit. Also, you may notice there's an Easter egg, Matt. If you could click on that pick date right above the slider, you see a little piece of pizza and a little cup of tea.
Yeah, I do.
I don't know what it means, but it's suspicious.
He knows something that we don't.
All I know is that there is a piece of pizza on a day where there's a event currently scheduled in Rome, and there's a cup of tea on a day where there's events currently scheduled in London.
He must think that those are the majors.
London would make sense, especially with Matlock announcing that he's moving there to like head up an elite sport division from London. So I would not be surprised with that. But yeah, the pizza is on September 24th, 2026,
Mm.
which seems quite early in the season. I also messaged you guys the other day. I was just taking a look at some of the events, some of the scoring opportunities for people until September 3rd. So going
My
basically
birthday.
ending this season, going past the world champs. There's one American event. There's 2 in Mexico, 1 in
US,
Canada.
US, not America, because 'cause we've got all the
Well,
Americas, but yeah.
the United States of America, yes. There's only 1 New York. There's 2 in Mexico, 1 in Canada, so 4 North American events. While at the same time, there's 17 European events. So, yes, this is why we were on this points journey. I took a look at the calendar and realized if you don't get these points basically by April, you're it's gonna be very tough, finding some
But
of those
it
points for
does
that
get
first major.
better. It does get better next year. We have quite a few fall races.
Yes, we definitely but some of the I mean, if you need 2 or 3 races to accumulate the points, that second major is gonna be coming up pretty quick before, you even have that chance. Obviously, the depth of field will probably be even greater next year.
Yep. Yep. All right. I think we did it. Shout out Marcus, Eagle Eye with the Easter eggs. That's why you turn into Race Brain. You get the good stuff. I think we did it, boys. We brought the heat. Let us know in the comments. Let us know. Do you think that you should be able to start late in a race? Should it be chip time or should it be gun time? My 10K this weekend was gun time. I think it should be chip time. Do you think that
They did
radon
that
is
for a
actually
road race?
what?
They did that for a road race?
Yeah,
There's probably like 10 people at it.
Oh, okay.
yeah, it was like 100 people total,
Okay,
but,
alright.
it wouldn't have mattered. I wouldn't have gotten sub 40, 15 though. It was close. It was
Yeah.
close. We're getting quick. All right, let us know who you think's gonna qualify in Brisbane. Subscribe to the drop. We out.